Let's get it started. Remember the old version of that song? Let's get it started. The Black Eyed Peas. What it
Yes,
used to
I
say.
remember it. I had it
Can
on
you believe
LimeWire. Let's get.
it started? I can't believe
No,
that was
that's
a
not what they
song.
said.
I
That's not
know, it
what
was
they said.
horrible.
It's
That will
terrible.
never. I bet they can't believe that that was the song.
That.
You know, if you know, you
What
know.
were they thinking, even at that time?
I don't know, but like honestly, I was in high school and like everybody said that word all the time, so I didn't think anything of it. To be honest, that
No,
had to
and
be
I
like,
loved it. But Maggie and I also listened to techno fart or techno poop at that time. It was like literally techno farts.
no
So
idea.
my taste was trash, is what I'm telling everyone.
Literal shit.
Literal poopy taste.
Okay, that's very vulnerable of you to share. I would not be telling people that.
New year, new me. Just really putting myself out there for you guys.
Anyways, how is your dry January going so far? Today is January 12th, Sunday, January 12th. So we're 12 days in.
Dry January hasn't been hard for me, and I don't know if it's because I'm still just not over the holidays and how much I consumed over that. I have noticed something, and I think I mentioned it to you last week, that in the past, before dry January started, I would drink maybe a couple times a week, but now that I'm dry, I'm having mocktails every single night. And I
I
can't
am,
tell what's worse for you at this point.
well, I mean, obviously the mocktails are better for you. You're not putting literal alcohol poison into your body. So I think,
Well, yeah, but if I'm drinking three times it, I mean, for me, I never really drank pop. So a
mm,
lot of my mocktails have poppy in it and stuff. But so yeah, it just feels weird, but I'm enjoying them.
I am too.
And
I'm loving all of the mocktails. I have
yeah.
a lot of poppy drinks too. What do they call it? This is so embarrassing to say out loud. The Sleepy Girl mocktail with like the magnesium. I put it in a
Hmm.
little poppy and some tart cherry, and it is so good. And I do sleep like a baby.
I have the same exact thing. So
Same
I've
formula.
been drinking the magnesium too. And it was funny because I made myself a mocktail and I looked at the directions and it said like 2 teaspoons. And then I made myself a bath. I got in and I was sipping on it and I was looking up like what exactly magnesium does. And then I read a disclaimer that said, start with half a teaspoon.
Oh,
And I got like a panic attack while I was in the bathtub. Like, what's going to happen to me? Nothing happened.
yes. I think if you're not used to like taking mind or body altering substances, maybe you could be sensitive to it, but I think you're fine.
Yeah. But I did go out and meet some friends for drinks last night. And to my surprise, Dubuque has decent mocktail options at their bars now. So good job, Dubuque. Started at
No.
Riverboat and had a Paloma. They had spirit free tequila. And then we went to First Reserve where they had an entire spirit free menu. And I got
That's
a
awesome.
mojito. Yeah.
How is the spirit free like liquors, like the spirit free tequila?
I mean, I think it added a little salty taste to it. It wasn't spot on, but I didn't miss the tequila either, if that makes sense.
Yes. I feel the same way as you for this whole situation. Again, we're only 12 days in, so I feel like that's not super difficult to not drink for. So I feel like I agree with what you said. I feel like I'm coming off of a time when it was the holiday, so I was eating and drinking a lot. So I haven't I haven't missed alcohol even a tiny bit yet. So I think
Yeah.
maybe like week 3 I'll be like, okay, I think I'm ready for a beverage. But I don't know. Smooth sailing so far. I agree.
Yeah. Maddie and I are actually breaking dry January together for my birthday. And we'll be also doing it with our guest for today.
Yes, actually, for her birthday, her birthday is January 29th, but for her birthday on January 31st, our guest is actually having a show at the Smokestack in Dubuque at 7:30. So it would be awesome if you're in Dubuque and would like to join us, and we'll have cake and stuff afterwards. And we're going to bring some of our hats too if you've been looking for some merch.
Yeah, we're being really elusive about him, I feel like, but he's a comedian, so it's a speakeasy comedy show, in case we didn't mention that yet.
Yes. Is
But
there
enough
anything else?
about Matt. We'll be talking about him so much later.
What else did
Let's
we
start
want to
with
talk about?
Maddie. Why are you mad?
Oh, I didn't think of anything yet.
We haven't done this in a little bit, so we gotta get back on it. You can say it if you want.
What?
How I was late today and a couple times before that.
Okay, I'm mad today because the last 3 times we've logged on, I'm sitting here for 5 to 8 minutes waiting for Lexie, and she's late every time. Which, when she logged on, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and there's always something a reason why she's late, which is fine. And I just said, "That's okay. I just know to expect you to be late now." And then you
And
were
I
like,
got
"Well, no,
I got
I'm never late."
offended. I got offended. And I was like, what? Like, because I was late a couple times, and then she brought up the last 3 times. I was like, okay, so I've been late only in 2025. I feel like that's a big statement to make.
Who knows about prior to that? It's just so far away now. We don't even remember.
I remember because I'm afraid to be late for you. But then I said, yeah, but we're just working on your flow, your goal for 2025 to flow out of control. I'm out of your control, I
Lexie's
guess.
out of control.
And you all just have to deal with it.
At least you show up. That's good. That's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah. True.
What about you? What are you mad about?
I am mad. Okay, first of all, how late do you think it's appropriate to keep your Christmas tree up?
Oh gosh, I'm a day after Christmas person. I don't like it up. But that's my
Okay.
personal opinion.
This year was the first year that I got a real tree, and this thing won't die. I stopped watering it. It's just sitting here. Like, the pine needles are not falling off of it. It still feels so alive, and I actually feel terrible about it. I feel like I
Oh my
cut down this beautiful living thing, and I'm just starving it to death. And I don't know I don't know what to do.
Your tree is
Huh?
still up. Kurt and I went for dinner Friday and we passed a house with a tree still up and we laughed at it.
It's alive. What am I supposed to? I can't just kill it. I'm having this really big because I want it down, but it's so alive, Maddie. I don't know what else to tell you. And I
Just
didn't
take it
think that I
outside.
would feel so bad.
Can you use it for wood and stuff afterwards, to start fires? So just put it outside and let it dry
Yeah.
out.
I know, but I even looked up how long it would stay alive if I just continue watering it because I'm serious. It's just such a beautiful tree. I don't know. I need to get over it. And yeah, I talked about doing something with it today, but
Well, it's like the Taylor Swift song, "We can leave the Christmas lights up until January." You're an adult now. You can choose the
yeah.
lifestyle you want to live, even if that's having a tree up till January 14th.
I just want to give it a peaceful place to die.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
interesting. I have no advice.
It's a big dilemma. It's a complex. Anyways, I guess we can talk about Matt again.
Cool. Well, again, Matt's going to be in Dubuque on January 31st at the Smokestack. He is our guest today, Matt Banwart. He is a comedian raised in Iowa and is currently based in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, Matt is the founder and occasional host of Roast Battle Chicago, where he has hosted and judged shows alongside judges like Jeff Ross, Dusty Slay, and Robert Kelly. And in this
So,
episode, we recorded it ahead of time. So in it, we kind of burned him for not getting on Kill Tony yet as being a Austin local.
if you don't know what Kill Tony is, can you explain that a little bit, Lexie? Because I had no idea what it was prior to.
Yeah. So, to my understanding, Kill Tony is a show that's hosted at Joe Rogan's Mothership Comedy Bar there. And comedians will put their names in, but they only draw, I don't even know how many people, and they get up there and they get a really short set. And then they get to talk to a panel of comedians after that. They go back and forth and ask questions and get to banter a little bit. And it's a big deal when your name gets called for that show.
So Matt had never been on it, and we were kind of we kind of asked him, why have you tried? And he's like, yeah, well, I've tried, but not in a while. And he goes, you know what? Actually, I'm going to sign up for it. And then we get a text that night and said, hey, I actually got on Kill Tony tonight. So that was kind of funny. It goes
Maddie,
into what we talked about last week with people saying that we're a good luck charm.
Yeah, we have to be like, that's kind of crazy actually. But Maddie was so funny because she's like, I can't tell if he's messing with us or not.
Yeah, these damn comedians, man. I didn't know if it was a joke. I didn't know if it was a joke or not, so I didn't know how to respond.
We didn't believe him at first, but he's finally posting about it. We'll share some of his clips from being on the show, and it seems like he did a great job. So congratulations, Matt, and let's listen to what you had to say a few weeks ago, I guess.
Let's go. Well, I don't even know how we're going to kick this off.
Matt, why don't you do a bit for us?
I'd rather fucking die. How about that? How about that for Midwest niceness? Is that good?
Actually, when I was like looking at your videos on your YouTube page and stuff, I did think to myself, oh, what a nice Midwest nice guy. And then I saw your fucking roasting shit, and I was like, which version are we getting?
Oh no, yeah, that's actually funny. So I was the host of Roast Battle in Chicago for 3 years, and I host and judged a roast show twice a month every month for 3 years. Sometimes we did 3 or 4. We'd take it on the road, and we had like big guests would come in. The show was like, I haven't worked with the show for over a year, and they recently changed the Instagram bio to #1 comedy show in Chicago. Oh, which is a level of ego that I've never had about anything I've ever done.
Well, weren't you a founder?
I was the founder of the show. Me and an old business partner. Like, I liked writing roast. It was a fun challenge.
I was gonna ask if it's hard to like turn it off once you're on a roll with roasting. Do you just like leave?
Oh, I can't stop.
Leave the show and you're just like roasting all of your loved ones afterwards still?
I've got a problem. Also, speaking of roasts, I'm dressed like my wall.
Quite literally.
You roast yourself too. You roast yourself as well.
I think my shirt's even the same texture. It's crazy.
And then your like skin isn't very far off either.
Stop, okay? Dear Lord, kick me while I'm down. Kick me while I'm down, why don't you? Dear Lord.
Joking. I pretty much match my tank top, so it's fine.
I wasn't trying to dress like drywall, okay? Really, I got mad yesterday. I punched a hole in my wall, and I'm just trying to cover it up.
You go.
I'm joking.
It's working. You're killing it.
I've never punched a hole in my wall, but I have friends who have. I think that's the silliest thing to do.
I can't say I have either, but I have many friends. Lexie, you seem like someone who might have punched a hole in her wall. Have you?
I have not, but my sister did. And
That's
then
crazy.
She was like so nonchalant about it afterwards when she told my mom. She was just
really?
Like, sorry, I just punched a hole in the wall. And my mom goes, what? And she's like, I said I was sorry. I'm like, walked away.
I said I was sorry.
Like, the reason was even more ridiculous. But let's talk about you.
All right. Yeah, not enough people want to talk about me. I've always said that.
Yeah,
I was the host of Roast Battle for many years. I roasted a bunch. I said a lot of mean things about people that I loved, and I don't know. I might do roasts again someday. I still write roasts for people. People still ask me to write for them, but I'll do it myself.
So
I've turned a new leaf.
Chicago, and you were born in, did you say Cedar Rapids or Des Moines? I was
born in, both my parents are from Iowa. I was born in Florida.
Oh.
For the first 3.5, 4 years. And then the rest was all in Iowa.
Okay.
So yeah, my family's from Iowa. I was raised in Iowa, but technically I was born in Florida. So if you really want to get technical here.
Okay, and then back to Cedar Rapids and then Des Moines.
Mount Vernon, I don't know, suburb outside of Cedar, I don't know what to call it, but outside of Cedar Rapids. And then, now my family lives in the Des Moines area.
So when you go home for the holidays, you go home to the Des Moines area.
Yeah, Polk City, Iowa.
Oh, Polk City,
Ah.
up north. Okay.
Yeah, north side. It's becoming slowly absorbed by Ankeny. Ankeny's just expanding at a crazy rate.
Oh yeah, it's getting crazy.
It's a parasite.
Oh,
Can only
Ankeny is.
imagine.
I don't go past like 63rd.
Speaking of places you can fly in, I headlined the comedy club in Dubuque years ago. And when I was there, I was doing like crowd work on one of the shows, and people were like, talk about the airport in Dubuque. And I was like, I didn't know they had one.
Exactly.
Like, as a resident Dubuque expert, not to throw it away from me, is there an airport in Dubuque, and does it fly anywhere?
The answer is yes. There's an airport in Dubuque. No, they
Wow.
actually do not fly anywhere. Actually, I think they just got back their flight to Chicago recently. So I think we have one
Huge.
flight from Dubuque to Chicago. They tried bringing in this airline of Avelo. Was that it? And it had like
Not
a
even a
direct
real-
flight to Orlando in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what they said. When I was there, they said we can fly to Orlando. And I was like, why?
You cannot anymore. That was very short lived. And yeah, basically the airport is still there for some of the bigger businesses to jet their people out of the private jet
So cool.
center, whatever you call it. But otherwise, it's very unuseful.
The peasants can't get out of there. There's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's really sad. I'm sorry. I was really excited for Dubuque.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe
that
next time I'm
would've-
doing shows in Orlando, I'll just add on Dubuque.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's so many places to do shows here, anyways. So it's a good
I'll
place.
find a bar. Dubuque famous for its vibrant comedy scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
My first like 7 years of comedy was doing it out of the Midwest, and so I was always doing shows in like these small cities like Dubuque, Davenport, Peoria, Illinois, Champaign, Illinois. Like, and it was just like people would be like, "Where do you do comedy?" And I just want to be like, just wherever they can't afford real headliners. Just, and the
Wherever
lineups
they
are
need
just. And there would be like a comedy scene in like every city. Like every city has like a handful of people that like do an open mic on Tuesdays or something. And it was always just, I remember the shows were just so, I mean, because you'd have to follow like 45 minutes of just the worst local comedy you've ever seen. And then you'd get on stage and be like competent. And the crowds would be like, oh yeah. Dubuque is big enough for a comedy club though. Appleton, Wisconsin is one of the best comedy clubs in the country.
What is
Really?
that called?
Skyline
Okay.
Comedy Club.
That's a good
I
shout
could
out.
rank. Shout out. Book me again,
Shout out.
please.
What's
I
your
could rank.
favorite? Being from Des Moines, what's your favorite comedy bar in Des Moines?
My favorite comedy club in Des Moines.
Yeah.
I don't currently have one. Teehee's Comedy Club is about to open back up again at
Okay.
the old Spaghetti Works, and I wish them the best of luck. I think that was a great club. I recorded my album that I did at their old location, and I think they're only going to get bigger and better at their new spot. So it's not open yet, but Teehee's Comedy Club in Des Moines when it's back is my favorite. And then I love the Funny Bone too, but it's been a few years since I've done the Funny Bone.
Yeah, we
So-
like giving local shout outs when we can. But you're an Iowa State alumni.
Yeah, I have the poster behind me.
Maddie is as well.
What up? Go Cyclones.
She's
And my
going to show
dog's name
you.
is Ty. CY.
I love that. I was just at the they played the conference championship in Dallas, and me and a bunch of alumni from Austin drove up and watched the team get destroyed by 35 points. It was like 44-10 or something.
Ooh. Oh my God. All the fans that flocked there, like, first time, and everyone was so excited, and then just got fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
But was it at least fun?
I mean, I had fun.
Maddie, aren't they going somewhere overseas that you want to go to a game next year?
Yeah, we're thinking about going to Dublin next
Are you really?
fall. Mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah.
thought about it. There's just a bunch of comics from Ireland and the UK in Austin. Austin's like so big, comedians coming from all over the world. And they were telling me, they're like, if you ever do shows in Ireland, we'll line you up. We'll do 3 shows a night every night. And I was just like, that's my problem. If I travel, I have to do comedy. So I was like, I could do I could do that. I could do Dublin and then try to make the money back on shows. And then I was like, I don't want to.
Iowa State football, comedy shows, go
The
to
big
Europe.
two.
I mean, it's like the perfect weekend.
Yeah.
Could be. If the crowds in Ireland like me.
Yeah. What's their sense of humor like over there? I mean,
I think Ireland and like the UK are pretty up to date. I have friends who like tour in like Estonia or like Germany,
oh,
and and apparently like because people don't realize this, I'm like a comedy nerd. Stand-up comedy is like an American art form. It started in like the 50s, 60s, 70s. Comedy clubs weren't a thing until the 70s, but it's like American. So when you go to like Europe, their sense of comedy is like, or stand-up comedy in particular, is like really basic. So like stuff that we would consider like hack or like overplayed. So like going on stage and being like dating is hard, or like 1980s comedy where like my wife hates me. Like apparently in Germany they love it, or like in like Italy, like they love like what we would consider to be like very like base level like boring stand up. They'd be like, talk about how you hate your wife. Like they think it's like brilliant or whatever.
A woman belongs in the kitchen.
yeah, just like, yeah. They're all slapping their knees being like, now this guy gets it.
So would they love you or hate you?
They would love me. Those idiots wouldn't even know what hit them. I would dumb down my act in a heart. I'd go, oh, men and women, they're so different. Women be shopping and men be so dumb. Duh. You know, except that in German.
I wonder if they could relate to kids that were both farmers and emo kids, though. I don't know if they would understand that.
I don't know. So I didn't. Are you guys from farms, or are you guys town kids or country kids?
No, like we had friends that were farm kids, but we weren't like.
I don't even think I had a friend. I don't even think I had a friend who was a farm kid. Like we went to like the city school. We went to like the more urban, if there is one in Dubuque, the more urban high school.
Yeah, I guess.
You were raised on the streets in Dubuque?
We had like Hempstead and Senior, and Hempstead was known more for the farm kids, and they called them the Hicks back in the day.
Yeah.
And that actually bred most of like the emo kids too at that school, because there was that dynamic, and I think that maybe what started them to kind of go at
Isn't it? It's weird because I don't think people think that. People think like, at least like if you're like in cities, they're like, oh, goths are like these inner city delinquents, but it's like in my experience, goths were also farmers. They're wearing boots and mascara, you know.
What did you call them?
Goths.
Goths.
Goth. Goth.
Goths.
Emo.
So emo goth, is that like so? You guys
Same
call them
thing.
more goth?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went
emo.
emo. We called it emo.
Well, they're like two different. I feel like they were different.
Punks.
Punks. Okay. Punks.
I had a friend who would say punk, and I hated that. Something about it like really pissed me off.
Oh yeah.
Like, those kids
that's
are
like
punk.
so 1960, like what a dad would call someone like those.
What?
Spotify did like my top songs of like the 2010s at like in like 2020. They're like my top bands, and one by miles was Fall Out Boy. And
oh my gosh!
Stop! I wouldn't pretend like I'm someone who has like high taste in art, you know, like I'm so sophisticated. But it's like Fall Out Boy is number 5 this year too. I just can't get them off. It's like embarrassing.
I think what you listen to in high school is like what you kind of always love forever, and it always has that space, and like that's what gets you revved up.
Yeah,
were you like a
how do
Fall
I
Out Boy fan in high school then?
No, in high school I just listened to white rap.
Okay.
Oh,
so Fall Out Boy is your evolution band. This is like your next level one.
I grew up into Fallout. I mean, how embarrassing is that to be like, finally, I've got a sophisticated palette in music.
He's really grown up, our man.
You were like, now I get it. Now I understand.
Fall Out Boy lyrics are nonsense. They have a song called it's called Heaven, Iowa. It's on their most recent album. It has nothing to do with Iowa.
Okay, you have listened to their most recent album.
I've listened to every album, top to bottom.
I have no idea what they've come out with since like 2010.
No, so I grew up like part-time. My mom's from the western suburbs of Chicago, and so I kind of grew up like part-time in that area. And everybody was obsessed with Fall Out Boy in like 2008, 2009 because they were from that area. I think they're from Wilmette and Buffalo Grove. And so everyone was like going off about how this Pete Wentz and them were from there.
So cool. So you should watch. There's a video on YouTube of them. I think it's like in 2008 or 2007. It's them performing at a VFW basement in like Wilmette, Illinois. And it's just like them and like 30 kids packed into this shitty VFW basement. It's the whole concert. I think it's one of like this is so embarrassing that I'm saying this, by the way. Like, this is like so cringy. I'll watch that video of them just like kicking ass and like, you know, in like this VFW basement. I'm like, yeah, that's me, dude. That's what I'm doing. I used to do stand-up comedy in VFW basements, you know, like that. Like, I'll be like, yeah, dude, I'm so punk rock.
I just love that you said I watch videos of them just kicking ass.
Dude, they rock, dude. They rock. I don't care.
Like when Maddie says, "Sue me."
Put me in jail. I don't give a shit, dude.
Look at him just rocking out.
just catching a vibe, honestly.
Catch a vibe.
But that's true. Like, okay, so why do you think that these emo bands did so well and thrived in the Midwest?
You know what I think it is? This is a great. I have a lot of theories on this, and I think every state's a little different. But I think when you have when your city's not big enough to attract like actual acts, you have to go to local, right? Like you have to. Like there's nothing better to do in Toledo, Ohio, than go see the local band. Or like I think you find yourself oftentimes like at a bar or a venue where there's live music going. Like you'll be like, wow, there's this local band performing, and then you're just like, well, I like this like local band, and then you're a fan. I think for whatever reason, and I say this and I do mean this, when music is coming out of Michigan, the world is a better place.
Okay,
whatever it is.
Was your Hot Mulligan band from Michigan or something?
Hot Mulligan's from Michigan. Okay. There's a few other like big bands coming out of Michigan right now. Greta Van Fleet, everyone loves them.
Oh, okay,
they're from Michigan. Eminem, Michigan.
Okay, Detroit and Michigan are like very different.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you're so Midwestern.
We can talk about anyone that came from Detroit.
Can we talk about that? Can we break that down? Why do Midwesterners feel the need to separate the cities from the rest of the state?
That's a really good point.
Yes,
but when you're saying like they're from Michigan, and we're like, I think there's like a pride about the fact that you're from the middle of nowhere, so you really had to figure out a way to make it. Yeah. Where like,
okay.
You're kind of around and in the urban area. So I say urban.
I don't know. I feel like if you said like Texas, it wouldn't be as like, you'd be like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of cities in Texas that.
No.
True. You're not saying like Odessa or
East Lansing, Michigan. There's other cities in Michigan that I can think of.
Yeah.
Grand Rapids has music.
Yeah, I bet those are like thriving emo scenes.
Probably.
Speaking of thriving, remember
I like smaller. I mean, I like Good Hangs is a band that I really like. Saturdays at Your Place, Belmont. These are all like new bands that I feel like are having moments right now, and I think they're all from like the area. I think they're all from Michigan, Chicago. So, Belmont is Chicago. I'm pretty sure.
Everyone look into bands from Michigan. They're coming in hot.
Dude, I'm a huge. I want to talk about this. I thoroughly believe like Midwest comedy crowds are kind of comparable to like music crowds, but like every state, like, cause I used to be, for the first 7 years of comedy, I was just touring the Midwest doing like bar shows, road gigs. And I think like some states have better crowds than others for comedy.
Okay.
And like, what do you mean?
Like, for example, I would rather die before I did another show in Indiana.
Oh yeah? Did you bomb?
Indiana, no, I didn't bomb. That crowd failed me.
Oh, wait. There's a blog on your website that says, should comedians blame the crowd?
Do not. Yeah, that's so niche. Dude, I haven't updated that in years. That's from years ago, that blog post.
Well, it's still there. It's on the internet, and it's there forever. So
it hadn't happened to you yet.
Let me clarify. Doing shows in Indiana are really fun if you speak in really small words. Okay.
Okay.
If you like talking really slow and you don't mind hecklers repeating your punchlines back at you, then Indiana's great.
So essentially Germany.
Yeah, it's the Germany of the U.S.
Okay.
It's Indiana, and then like Ohio's hit or miss. Michigan's great. I did a run of shows. I did 4 days of shows in Michigan. Every last show's in a bowling alley. They love stand-up comedy in bowling alleys in Michigan. They're obsessed with it.
I would really fuck with that. Some bowling and some comedy.
It was great.
That sounds awesome.
It's a
There
whole
was like
night.
100 people at every show. It was a proper date night, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a lot of options, so I mean, that was the place to go.
Northern
so you're
Michigan.
Saying, regionally, you like areas better because of sophistication? Is that what I'm hearing?
Not necessarily, because you know what?
Or are some regions more like, do they get offended more easily than others?
I would argue crowds in Iowa are too polite for comedy sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that happen.
Sometimes you'll be doing a show and it's not even like. So I started off as clean. The first few years I was like almost entirely clean. And crowds in Iowa would almost like they wouldn't laugh because they were afraid of like interrupting or like. And you just have to pause. Like you just have to pause more when you're doing shows in Iowa.
Really?
And it's not that they don't get it.
We're too nice.
Or you know what's funny? My friend, I was just doing shows with my friend Wolfgang, very funny comic, and he noticed this when he was doing shows. We did Iowa, and then we did Southern Minnesota. We did Mankato, and in the Midwest, like in like Texas or like Chicago or any major city, you can accuse the crowd of like being racist. You don't actually say a racist joke, but you'll be like, "What are you guys racist?" And in Chicago or in like Austin or New York, like people will laugh at that. They think it's funny. But for whatever reason, the Midwest, people get really defensive. They're like, like they won't laugh. Like if you make any sort of like commentary at all, like because in Chicago, like where it's like more, you know,
diverse.
Yeah, it's like you have people are okay with laughing at that. But if you say in the Midwest, it's not that people don't find it funny. It's that they'll be like, no, we're not, and it's like it's not. I'm not saying you are. I'm joking. I don't mean it. But in the Midwest, people take it like very personal in Iowa.
Yeah.
Because they
Like
want to
the
be
places
hospitable.
where they actually are more racist, they're afraid to laugh at racist jokes.
Well, and then you get to Texas. You get to Texas where they're a little too comfortable. That's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's two ends of the spectrum, but I've witnessed that at the comedy bar in Dubuque, where people don't understand that what comedy is. I feel like, and they do. I've seen people get up and leave shows because they're like, "This is just rude," but that's kind of what comedy is.
It can be. It can be a lot of things.
Yeah.
It can be rude. It can be absurd.
Yeah.
The last two comics that I saw in Des Moines, I saw them within like a month. I saw Brooks Wheelan and I saw Jared Freed, and both of them commented and said, "This is the weirdest crowd I've ever been to." And West Des Moines is interesting because it's kind of like a suburb even of Des Moines. So you have this really strange dynamic of political differences even within the crowd. And like they would say half of the crowd would laugh at completely different things.
Oh, yeah. That's the worst. Is when, oh my gosh. Yes, I hate that. I hate when crowds are, usually the biggest one for me, I notice, is age. But I was doing a show, it was last Friday. I did a show at this venue, and I swear to God, it felt like the seating was almost segregated. Because like on the left side, there's this Hispanic group. In the middle is African American. In the right, it was like older white people. And then further right, it was like all like college kids. And I would tell jokes and like, oh, the African American people would love it. The Hispanics would love it. The old people would love it. The young, and it was just like, it felt like you're just conducting. We'd be like, well, this one. And it felt like every group was too afraid to laugh if the other group laughed. And it was like, you could just feel it throughout the room. Because like the clusters of people, and it was like, you just couldn't. Comedy's weird because you kind of the instrument you work in comedy is the crowd, and when the crowd is like so separated, you're like trying to get them all like on the same page, and sometimes you just can't.
So when you get up there, you don't have like a full set that's like ready to go. Like you have jokes, and you kind of feel out the crowd and see like what they laugh at and what they don't, and try to.
Do you like feel them out and then like change it, or? Sometimes
I do. Sometimes I'll write me personally, everyone's a little different, but I will write a set list of like the exact jokes I'm going to do. And how I deliver them will change. And like the commentary I make in between each joke will change. But usually I stick within the order that I plan on doing. But sometimes I'll just like abort mission and I'll just do whatever. I'll start talking to the crowd, or it kind of also just depends on how long of a set you have. Like sometimes you're doing like 3 to 5 minute sets, like you're doing really short stuff. But then like when I'm on the road, if I'm like playing a club where I'm the headliner or I'm a feature actor, you're doing 30 minutes to like an hour plus, then you have time to like react. Then you have time to like really like figure out the room and like change what you want to do. And like maybe you really want to talk to the crowd that night, or maybe you don't want to talk to the crowd at all. Usually if I like the room, I will want to talk to them. But if I hate the room, then I won't talk to them. I'll just do my set and I'll just shut off my brain. And
So you enjoy doing crowd work? I feel like I would be so bad at that. That's where I'm like the most impressed when I'm at a show, but it seems scary to me.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. I don't think I'm known for it. I think I'm a better writer than I am at doing crowd work, but it really just depends on the night you catch me.
Can you tell us about like the worst time you've ever bombed?
Yeah. There's a few. I have one on the blog if you want to read it. I have that stories up there. I'm trying to think if I have a more.
Oh, the one where you dislocated your shoulder?
Yeah, I dislocated my shoulder. I went on stage. I slid on my bike and my entire hand was bleeding. And so I'm hiding my entire my left hand behind my back to hide the fact that my hand was bleeding.
Oh my!
Are you freaked out by how thoroughly I stalked your website, by the way?
I mean, even I am.
I am a little bit. I don't feel safe, but I'm glad we're doing this remotely now. I
was gonna ask you for your address to send you a hat, but now I'm like scared that you're gonna think
she can't have it.
Yeah, maybe we should do it on my private messenger, not the shared one.
Yeah, keep like
fine, guys. Jeez, I'm sorry to come prepared to my interviews.
I have a more updated bomb story. I did a show in Minneapolis, like 2 or 3 years back, and my friend Ken Hamlet, who's a brilliant comic based out of Chicago right now. Ken is so funny. He has this show called The Drunken Night Out, and the show is you go on and you do 10 minutes of stand up. Then there's 2 other comics. So you do stand up, you get off stage, you drink, and then you do 10 minutes of a story, and then you drink, and then you get wasted, and then you go on and you do 10 minutes of crowd work with him, right? So you have to get up on stage 3 times. We're doing the show in Minneapolis, and like 3 of my friends from college who haven't seen me perform in like years show up, but they're in the back. And it's a comedy like you get really used to like how the rooms are laid out. It's a shotgun style room, so it's laid out really low. So it's my friends are all the way in the back, so they can't even hear or see me. And when a room's really long, it's easy to get disconnected. You want a wider room because then it's shallow and you can kind of turn and talk to everyone individually. But in a really long room, you lose the back. And so I go up, I do my first 10 minutes, and I'm kind of like tired from traveling. We've been on the road for like 5 days. I was hanging out with my college friends earlier that day, and this married couple up front keeps like, after every joke, they ask me a question. They're like, because sometimes people think like you're talking like it's a real conversation. If you're a fluent comedian, it sounds really conversational. So people will sometimes like interject because they think like they can ask you a question. So this couple starts talking to me. And I start talking to them, and then like a couple in like the middle of the room starts making. So now I'm trying to do my act, but I have to stop at the setup of every joke to talk to these couples. And then it starts going bad. I'm like 3 minutes into the set. And then there's this middle-aged bachelorette party. They're all like in like, must be like second or third way. I mean, they're like in like their 50s, and they're all there. And then they start talking to me. So now I cannot finish a joke. I cannot finish like a sentence. And jokes are like they're very like you have to hit your beats before you get to the punchline. It's very like tempo based. It's like da 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 da. Like you have to. And so if it's da da, okay, how you doing, man? Okay, stop talking. All right, now you stop talking. And so I just lose it, and I didn't feel like doing crowd work, and I just lose the crowd. And then the couple up front's like, why aren't you talking to us? And the couple middle's like, why aren't you talking to the bachelorette party's like, you suck. So I'm like 7 minutes into the set.
You suck.
No, but it was the same vibe.
Okay.
I could feel their judgment, you know? Okay. I mean, you could just, it's not going well. You can't finish a joke. I can't even get a thought off because so many people are trying to talk to me. So I can't even, And I'm trying to be like, because you don't want to be rude. I am a Midwestern. I don't want to be like shut the fuck up so I can finish what I'm saying, because then the crowd's gonna hate you. But you can't also just you can't crowd work with 3 people at once. Like you can crowd work with 1 couple at one time.
Yeah.
You can't work 3 people. It just doesn't work out. And so I bombed the first 10-minute set. Just a terrible bomb. I walk off stage. I'm like, holy shit, that was awful. And then I have to get back on stage 2 more times.
That's terrible.
And everyone hates me. Everyone, the second I get on stage, now I have to tell a story. And throughout the story, I just hear people being like, like making comments. That's what they, in my head, that's what they sound like.
Yeah.
The 50-year-old women definitely did.
And then the back of the room starts talking because it's a shotgun style room. And I'm like losing the back. And then finally the third time I go up, and it's the crowd work portion of the show. And I just walk on stage. I just remember I go, so everyone here hates me right now, right? And they're all like,
so wait,
yeah.
You were drunk by this time, right?
Yeah, so you're wasted. Yeah. And I'm sad now. I'm sad because I'm bombing.
A sad
and I'm
drunk comedian.
So now I'm on stage, and I have to do, and I just turned on the room, and I was like, I fucking hate you guys. I'm tired of being polite. And I'm just like, and sometimes crowds are like that. Yeah, you're pouring yourself a double. And and I was just like, I hate you guys. I don't want to be here. You're the worst crowd ever. I'm never doing Minneapolis again. You all suck. And then eventually some of them get on board with it. The other half of them just hates me even more. And I left. And I remember I was standing in the back of the room after the show waiting for the other comedians to finish up. And the people that were interrupting my set came up to me and they were like, dude, we loved you. And because they thought they were helping the show. They were like, we love talking to you. Thanks for talking to us. And I was like, I hate you so much right now.
Yeah. And see, that's what I feel like a lot of the crowds, especially in Dubuque, they didn't understand comedy etiquette either. Yeah. And there were a lot of hecklers. And actually, they ended up getting a lot of people kicked out of the shows because of heckling. And that's where I wanted to ask you.
It's not common knowledge. It's not common knowledge in the Midwest.
Oh, if a crowd has hecklers, are you pro the comedian calling them out and kind of getting them to shut up, or do you just ignore it and keep going?
I mean, it'd be fun to give a blanket statement here. The reality is you just have to feel it out. Sometimes you don't want to be aggressive, because if, like I said earlier, if you're overtly mean to them up top and they haven't really done enough to piss everyone else off, then it's fine. And a lot of times heckling can look really different. Sometimes heckling will be in Indiana, like I said, I did the show, and after every joke, I would say the punchline, and then this couple, they would repeat it back. They were they were a beat behind. They were like, oh, that's funny. Or sometimes a heckler will be that. Sometimes a heckler will be, someone will be like, that's funny. Or, wow, that, sometimes someone will say out loud, instead of laughing, they'll go that was good. And it kind of ruins the tempo of your next joke. And so you just have to pause and be like, all right. And so if someone is in the audience being like, wow, that's good, and you go you suck, I'm going to call you out. And they're like, well, I'm just encouraged. Then then you come off as the bad guy. So there really is no one answer to how to handle heckling. If someone's disrupting the show, then you have to acknowledge it. And sometimes you can turn a heckle into a part of the show. I did a show in Bastrop, Texas 2 weeks ago with my friend. And, this crowd was older, and it was his whole fan base is 60 plus. And this lady, for whatever reason, goes during the show, she goes, I could own you. And I was like,
oh my God.
And the first time,
man,
I don't know.
Were you challenge accepted?
little me? Sweetheart. Yeah, so I was like, I literally didn't know it, so I just kept going. I was just pretending I didn't hear it. And then I said another joke, and she was like, I could buy you. And I stopped and I go, ma'am, did you say you could buy me? And she goes, I'm so rich. And I was like, well, why? What would make you say that? I couldn't even process it. It was such a weird thing.
Yeah,
and then
I would be how much?
Well, so that's what eventually, so what I did is I had this Miller Lite fall sweater on. I go, how much for the shirt that I'm wearing right now? And she goes, whatever you want. I go, $200. And she goes, done nothing to me. And I took off my shirt. I had a shirt underneath. And I sold her my shirt for $200. And the crowd lost their mind. To me, like that felt like a successful way to do it.
Yeah,
I also made $200
for you. Yeah.
off of a $20 shirt. So
Wow.
That's awesome, actually. I would have continued just like taking off my clothing and being like, how much for my socks?
well, that's a new thing.
Oh, you could have gotten
For
anything.
my boxers. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's people online. There's a lot of my comedy friends sell feet pics.
Oh my gosh. I've always
Love that for
wondered.
them.
Did you start your comedy career in college then?
Yeah.
Or was
this
it
what I was
at ISU?
Yeah, today's actually my 9-year anniversary of my first ever open mic.
Hey! Congratulations. Cheers.
Thank you. Yeah, the
Cheers.
first mic I did was at a club that no longer exists in Cedar Rapids, Penguins.
Okay.
I did it, and I just remember, and this is a mean thing to say, but I do mean it, everyone else did so bad where I was like, I could keep doing this.
Yeah.
Yes. It was
Well,
the
it was
downfall
like-
of others that
Your first
gave
time,
you
too?
confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was back then. It always has been. And I just remember being like, wow, the comedy scene in Cedar Rapids isn't that great. I could probably be the best at this in like a year. And then, and I was like, I started when I was 18, and I was like really cocky about it. And I think I made a lot of enemies when I was younger in the area. I don't remember this story, but a comedian from Des Moines told me this like 4 years ago, that apparently when I was like a year in, or it was 2 years in, there was a competition in it was the Floodwater Comedy Festival in Iowa City, and I drove down from Ames to do it. So I drove like 2 hours down to do this. It was a competition to get into the festival. And apparently, I don't remember this, but apparently when I was like 20 years old, like 19 or 20, I drove down, and all these comedians, they were like, I don't know, like 28, 29. And they were like trying to talk to me as I was signing up. And they were like, oh, Matt, what are your thoughts on this competition? And apparently I turned to them and I go, no one here looks funny, should be pretty easy.
It's the confidence.
Wow, cocky. Well, I mean, that's a quote from the state of Iowa's first ever male sorority president, actually, too.
No!
So you had a lot to be proud of.
Where are you, Lexie? What's happening?
This is a deep dive.
Why don't you tell us that story now?
Well, anyway, by the way, for what it's worth, on that other story, I ended up winning the competition, and those guys both lost.
Well,
So
we didn't ask, so
okay,
No, we didn't.
Well, it's okay. I was very cocky at a young age, but I was like doing fine, so it didn't
yeah,
matter.
it stayed at a young age. I can see that.
Yeah, now I'm super modest.
Wow.
That's so funny. So I was a sorority president in college. I'm the first ever male sorority president in the state of Iowa. I was the president of the stand-up comedy club at Iowa State. And we realized that in the student organization database, I think is what it was called, you could register your club. Like you just had to like fill in like what is your club? And then you'd be like, I'm a sorority. I'm an arts club. And so we were just like, we're a sorority. And so we filled in the button. And no one checks it. It's like a completely automated system. And so to this day, the stand-up comedy club is listed as a sorority. So we had to fill like a little bit of paperwork on like being a sorority. No one ever checked it. It's not like we weren't a part of like the Interphalanx Council or whatever. We were just like, we're an independent sorority. And the best part was Stand-Up Comedy Club. So our initials were SUCC.
Oh my God.
So we were Suck. Sigma Epsilon Chi Chi. So we were Suck House. And we had, like so we were Suck House, and our official sorority hand sign was Wait,
if anyone isn't watching the video and you didn't just see what Matt did, he was sucking a dick with his hands.
There was a hand gesture involved that you might think it would look like.
So
I mean,
we were
it could have been a lot of things in his mouth. I'm sorry. I shouldn't assume. Maybe it was a microphone. It was
He
a
was
microphone.
holding a mic
Yeah.
flag.
And it was a mainly male sorority. We had like 5 or 6 women members. And we took like a composite and like a sorority photo. We all did like the poses. And then my senior year, we got like a house right off campus. And we put up letters, Sigma, Epsilon, Chi Chi, Suck. And
Hell yes.
yeah, we would throw like, it was nothing too crazy, but we threw like parties at Suck House. And it was a good time.
Is it still
That
there?
sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's still, last time I checked, let me check the Iowa State.
You have a legacy?
When did you graduate? What year did you like graduate Iowa State?
I think 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
While he's looking it up, I loved so basically they told that story on his website. He told that story on his website, and then it ended with, he is very bold, underlined, proud of this. Almost as proud as his father was when he won his 6th grade Pinewood Derby.
Oh yeah, it's still there. Oh yeah, it's still there, dude. Can I screen share?
There you have it, folks.
One sec. Can I pull up the screen share real quick?
Ooh.
Sororities, Iowa State. And the best part is I didn't do this. They put AA in front of it, so it's always on the top of the list alphabetically. Oh. Yeah,
that's
I don't know anyone in the club now, but I wish them the best of luck as a sorority.
I love that. Did you say you're going on the mothership tonight? Is that tonight?
Yeah, it's
have
tonight.
You been on Kill Tony?
No, not even. I've signed up over 50 times. I've never done it once.
You never got lucky enough. Okay.
Like I've gotten like other things that I'm very proud of in Austin. That's not that.
Well, and even it looks like on Roast Battle Chicago, you had some guest judges that were pretty big too. What do I see?
Yeah,
Jeff Ross.
Jeff Ross was the biggest. Jeff Ross.
Yeah.
Dusty Slay. I'm trying to think who else.
Are you
Kim
guys
Patterson,
best buds?
Hans Kim. Robert Kelly was a really big one. Yeah, I'm in a basketball league with Cam and Hans every Tuesday. We play in Austin.
That's really cool.
At 2:00. Yeah, that's a lot of other cool comics. I don't want to name drop. I feel bad name dropping people like that.
I made you.
But yeah, there's a comedian basketball league in Austin, and it's like really I'm like notoriously one of the worst. I'm 6'4", but I can't shoot to save my life. I have hand tremors, so my hands are like, today's like actually like a very steady day. My hands shake usually pretty bad, so I just like am a terrible shot.
And, just calm you down.
Yeah. No. Is it us? We have a calming effect. No, have you seen the
I would argue the exact opposite.
Ooh, it's called Nobody Wants This. Did you see that with Kristen Bell? Nobody Wants This?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Maddie, did you?
Should I?
Listeners, yeah, that's the one with what's his name?
Your biggest crush ever. Yeah. So in it, listeners, since Matt's not up to date, they have this like Jewish basketball league, and that's what I'm imagining this like comedy teams league to be like.
Like they cheer when they like are losing and they miss baskets.
The wives all like gang up and they drink every time they miss baskets. Their husbands miss baskets.
Is this still going on, or is this like in like the 50s?
Oh no, it's a television show on Netflix. That's kind of new.
It's
really?
Like really good.
Nobody wants it.
Check it out. It's funny.
I'm just so bad that I talk the most trash. That's like my whole thing. If I'm gonna be the worst, I'm gonna be the funniest basketball player ever. So I just every time I shoot, I'm like, oh, that's in. Or I'll talk. If I get the ball, I'm shooting it. Like you can't guard me, and then I'll miss by like 3 feet, and I'll be like, never mind.
I love that.
What are you best at in basketball? What's your biggest attribute to the team?
Well, if you can't shoot, you have to be a defensive specialist.
Oh.
I think I'm just tall. I think people just I can just take up space. That's what I'm good at.
You do not look like you would be 6'4" from right here.
You're right. I look like I'd be 6'7". I understand. You know what's my favorite thing to do? This is my favorite thing to do. So if I'm at a bar and a girl asks me what my height is, I say I'm 5'11".
Oh, it's like
I say I'm 5'11", and I say it because it's because guys for years have gaslit women into thinking that they're taller, and I think that's fucked up.
Yeah,
and I think women deserve to know actually. So someone has to gaslight them in the opposite direction. That's where I come in, a feminist hero. Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh.
I know, and the best part is if I say I'm 5'11". Most guys are much shorter than me. Now every dude around me is panicking because they have to they just told everyone else that they're 6'6'1", and I'm 3 inches taller than them, and now they have to be like, he's not 5'11". Or
those 6'1" guys are actually 5'11", and we all know it.
Can I end? Can I say the best state in the Midwest to perform comedy in?
Yeah, of course you can.
It's Wisconsin, and it's not even close. No, I know you're from Dubuque, so you're borderline Illinois. People from Illinois hate Wisconsin.
No, I'm borderline Wisconsin and Illinois. But
Oh, yeah,
my
Dubuque's right up there.
my job is actually in Wisconsin, and I love Wisconsin. I go over there all the time because there are no rules in Wisconsin. I swear to God.
Yeah, the kids drink in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
did. I had my graduation party over in Wisconsin because I could drink there when I was 18 as long as the parent was there.
My
Yeah.
parents were so strict; they wouldn't let me or my older brother drink at all. They were like super strict, and they would like helicopter parents. They were like tracking us, stalking us, interrogating people. It was crazy. And then my little brother drank like crazy in high school, like borderline alcoholism in high school. And they found out, I think they knew way before, but they found out because he was brewing his own mead. He would make gallon jugs. He would take
I
milk.
actually am so impressed.
Oh yeah, no, we were all like, it went from like anger to just being like, dude, we're so happy for you.
Yes, like he's curating his own product. Like this is a beautiful thing. Like he
'Cause
cares about what he's consuming.
Yeah, all you need is honey and yeast. And they were like, hey, Chris, this is like a taxable issue. This isn't even like.
I like how they approach it from that aspect.
Like you're making too much money off of your mead. You little entrepreneur, we're proud of you.
We're proud of you, but you could get in trouble with the government, so you better stop.
Yeah.
Silly boy.
That's a really good story, actually.
It's a great story.
Awesome.
So you have two
For sure.
younger brothers. You're one of three.
Oh yeah, I'm one of three. I'm a middle child. I'm the middle, one older, one younger,
Oh.
and I'm an Aries.
Oh, so interesting.
Wow. I don't know what that means, actually. I'm not that generation, but Maddie might know.
Well, I know all about you now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's a fire sign.
Wow.
It's a fire
That's one
sign.
thing I didn't know about you, Matt. Thank you for disclosing.
I was trying to find something that wasn't on my website. I'll add Matt Banwart is an Aries.com.
Finally, something new.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want everyone to know what Matt's email address is, actually.
No, you do not leak my email. My
I
email's
think
very
I
good.
commented. I think I replied back, and then you're like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh man, was that mean to say?"
No,
You said,
okay, I wasn't mean enough.
yeah, I domained my own name. Fight me.
So you'll never know it because we're not going to say the full thing here, but I've got the best
No.
email address I could possibly have. And
Yeah.
it's so hard being so blessed.
Yeah, it'd be like if mine was Maddie at MaddieJance.com.
It'd be something like that. Wow.
But
Wow, we're
you
just
guys
hanging out my email left and
don't
right.
harass him, okay?
Don't follow me on Instagram. Don't look up my podcast. Slide into the email. Say hi.
Yeah.
Book me in Dubuque.
But if they wanted to, what is your Instagram handle and stuff?
Yeah, it's Matt_Banwart. BANWART.
Wow, he's consistent, you guys.
And I hope everyone listening looks me up as well too and gets tickets to all my tour dates coming up in 2025.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about them?
My tour dates?
Yeah.
It's really uneventful. I think I'm doing Dallas Fort Worth again. I'm doing Chicago in January, and then I'm doing Cedar Rapids February 1st. I'm doing Cedar Rapids, and then I'm probably gonna do either Dubuque or Davenport in between there. That'll be up soon. Just trying to figure out a venue. I'll be doing Cincinnati again. Probably Minneapolis, Phoenix, I really want to do, and I'll probably be back in Boston soon as well. So I think like 4 or 5 of them are up right now. I also have a podcast. Listen to the podcast. It's called Hardly Working. I like that. Like I finished season 1. Season 2 is going to be starting up again soon.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, for coming. We had so much fun. And if you come to Cedar Rapids or Des Moines or Dubuque, we'll be sure to come to your show. And
Let me know.
Yeah.
Let
Should
me
we
know.
heckle, or is that not cool? I forget. I don't remember.
I have no patience for you guys heckling. I'll be so
Okay,
mad.
so I will sit there and shut the fuck up.
How else
All
will
right.
you know we're there?
Just message me and I'll say hi.